Good morning. I want to say something that I believe God has spoken to me about another thing pertaining to things that's going on in the world, um, things that I'm seeing in the news where people are being attacked. It really specifically does something to me to see women and children being attacked by males. I'm not going to call him a man. From a male figure of some kind. This man can be a father, a grandfather, an uncle, a son, a grandson. Um, God created man first, and then he created the woman. Um, and he made men have more physical strength. I believe that was because the man is the first human that God created, and that he made the man the head of the household. And because he wanted the man to be able to protect the woman and the children. Um, he also wanted one of his humans to be able to lift heavier things, and that could be anything around the house. At the time, they had farms, so it could be anything, wood and brick. And most women don't have a lot of physical strength. It's not really necessarily in our makeup. Sometimes it's always an exception to the rule, but men are generally physically stronger. So it always bothers me to see when men are being abusive to any kind of weaker person. Or it could be an elderly, it could be a woman, a child, anything like that. It is always just so disturbing to me. And I think about with the specific case, and I don't know all the details offhand, where recently a woman was beaten up at a bar. But the police and all the patrons and the people that worked in the bar, they all sort of collectively did not stand up for the woman. No one did anything to stop it, according to the report from, the staff of the bar. And then the patrons, no one that was actually a patron did anything to stop this attack on this woman. And then she was attacked by two males, grown males from the bar. They were beaten. Two males beat her up and knocked her out. She woke up in a parking lot and called the police. But when the police got there, they said they didn't find any reason to arrest anybody. And I just want to say those cases like that also bother me, because here we go again with someone not getting justice. I know that if it was me, which I doubt that I would ever get in a fight with two men, but I know that if I call the police, I expect results. If I have an issue, I expect, especially if I'm in the right, I expect to be able to file a police report and get somebody arrested if need be, and just the things that you expect. Everybody does, And to hear a story like that is very disturbing. And I know that it's disturbing to other people that have heard it. And I just want to say to that if we keep seeing a repeated issue in a certain area, that area needs to be addressed. It's not necessarily working as effectively as it probably, you want it to go out and protest and march. We've done that. We learned that from previous generations that did it. It works. I think that in 2023 and beyond, we need to try something else. And I think I figured out what God is trying to tell me is that people, from the example of the civil rights movement and other movements where people stood up and protested and spoke out and prayed and fasted, and those are blueprints. Those are blueprints, because think about it. All the people that we know that are famous for activism and seeing change on a social level from a small to global level and everything in between, all those people that we know of at one time were everyday people just like us, that worked, that lived their normal lives, and they weren't famous. Nobody knew who they were. They were just living their life. They had jobs, they had families. And one day they stopped and they seen something they didn't like. And they said, I'm going to be the change that I want to see. And the rest was history. And I think that's the blueprint right there. They showed us what to do. You see something and you see an area that you can be effective in yourself, you go do it. You go do it. For example, more people need to join the police force. People that are at, the right, find out what the criteria is if you're looking for a job, or if you're not looking for a job and you just want to change careers. If you see something in politics and you feel like you don't like it, find out what the criteria is, and if you qualify for it and you can go do it and be the change you want to see. I think that the time has come to do that. And I also believe that we have to stop crying and whining. I know people might not like me to say that, but there's a lot of that. Oh, look what they did. Oh, this is so bad. Why don't we do something we haven't done? Why don't we just, if you have the ability to do it, why don't we just start filling these positions? Because that works too. That has been proven to work. We see more people stepping up and starting businesses, or one thing that stood out to me, I'll tell you, I used to love watching the Lifetime Network because I used to like the movies. And I noticed that when Oprah started her network on OWN, that you started seeing more women that look like me on my network I was already watching. At first, you didn't see a lot of diversity, but that was one thing that really I never forgot about that. I paid attention to that, and I started. Everybody can count. Y'all know I'm telling the truth, but y'all probably didn't pay attention to when it started. The more diversity that you see. And also We Network. All of those networks that you didn't see a lot of diversity on became more diverse after Oprah started hers, because the people in those networks figured out, they said, this is a woman. And the women that are fans of hers and that look like her, they're going to leave our network and start watching hers. So they got smart and they started making it more diverse and making sure they cover as much diversity as they can to keep their audience, because they knew that the people that was watching them liked their shows, but they knew that they may lose their people because they figured that her network would be more diverse based on the fact that her show was more diverse. So they said, okay, well, let's do what we have to do to come up with the times. And that's what I believe we need to do. We need to do what we have to do to come up with the times. Now's the time to step up. Now's the time to physically step in to some of those positions that you see that you don't like the way things are being done. Well, you become the changes you want to see. Have a good day, everybody.